All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Happy Wednesday, the 20th of August. A few quick sound checks here. Make sure we are G to G. We had a few audio issues back on Monday morning, so looking for no issues here today. What's up, Lorna, Miss Mirza? Good morning, Mr. Mirza, Miss Lorna. Debbie Hart. All right. But all right, guys, the action's been pretty interesting this week. You look at a lot of your QQQs, SMHs, S&Ps, the NVIDIAs, the Broadcoms, the Amazons of the world. Everything's just kind of pulled back to a daily 21 EMA. And I think the thing to keep in mind there, that's just kind of your normal ebbing and flowing. We could be in a bull market, we could be in a bear market, it could be a 15-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame, monthly time frame. That's it's just kind of how things move. We get into more of a bearish market. We flush away from our 21 EMA, we rally back to it. They spank it, we flush away from it, we rally back to it. Momentum shifts, better structure. We then rally away from a 21, pull back to it. Rally away from it, pull back to it, rally away from it, pull back to it. So yeah, from that point of view, it's just kind of your normal healthy ebbing and flowing. Question from here, of course, is where do we go next? Is it a case like back here where you pull back, you hold your 21? They may be chopping around for a few days. Brand new daily squeeze, a buy trigger. Could get that. Could also be a case of you break your 21, you're down to your 50. We shall find out. Again, look at the S&Ps. They've got maybe a little bit more room to go. And then here's your NVIDIA. That pulls back to a 21 EMA. Same thing for Broadcom. Same thing for the SMH. Here's your Meta. Have you ever Meta? All right, the Amazons and Googles, all the above. So that being said, to the leaderboard we go. And so far this week, a few things have changed. Overall, we take the indexes, Big 10 and the sectors. We've gone from bullish to neutral bullish. Bullish being, hey, everything is just, locked and loaded, fully primed for a pump. Dropping back to neutral bullish, we are very, very, very far from a bear market. But a few things have more so just taken a breather. Index-wise, you have the RSP followed by the Dow, the IWM, S&Ps, and then the QQQ. So the QQQ here with a 43% of max strength. Do I got to be the first guy to short that? No. I'd rather go short maybe a VRTX, EOG, the AMAT Energy MicroStrategy. So yeah, I'm not going to be in a big rush to short really anything with a positive score. But when do I get my best QQQ trades? When do I get my best, big tech, big semi trades? When the Qs are a little bit stronger. Top 1 or 2 indexes, maybe 80, 90% of max strength. I can't short that, but I can't be in a big rush to buy that. Qs are a little bit more bullish neutral. And then dropping down here for the sector look. Different picture from your last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. First place is the XLP. Second place is the transports, followed by the XLY, followed by XLB, that'd be materials, followed by the financials, solar, utilities, and industrials. Okay, so where's the SMH? That's back down here in 14th place of only 35%. Again, is that going to make for a great short? As far as a good repeatable process, not even close. Do I think it'll be super easy to jump in and buy NVIDIA today, Broadcom, AMD, and jump in expecting that immediate pop? To call for that kind of action, you do want to call for better scores. We got the SMH in 14th place. Where's the XLK? XLK's in 16th place. So think back 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. Google breaking out, good pop in Meta. NVIDIA's going for it. Broadcom, AMD going for it. The SMH, XLK, they were up here top 1, 2, 3, maybe top 4. 90% of max strength, 80%, 95%. These are not good shorts, but they're not great immediate longs. And then my old faithful Big 10 baskets down here in 12th place at 45%. If we go through a few of the Big Ten, it would be Amazon up here in first place, followed by the Apple, followed by the Google, followed by Tesla. And again, these guys are all just neutral now. Meta at 33%, Broadcom at 28%, NVIDIA 28%, all the way down to TSM at 13% of its best score. It's not a negative 90, negative 85. It's a positive 13, which really just kind of translates to pretty lame. We don't trade lame. So a lot of patience here, I think, as far as the SMHs, QQQs. Top 20 bull, you have Johnson & Johnson, Uber. There's a really nice daily squeeze setting up for Uber. XLP, Bank of America, Home Depot, ABBV, T-Mobile, some Dow Jones, some of the McDonald's, XLB, Walmart, Intel, Monster Beverage, Utilities, Industrials, and Duke. Now, a little food for thought here. We very rarely get strong markets. Strong market meaning Dow Jones is strong, S&Ps, QQQ, everything's just moving nicely. We don't tend to get that when your leadership is Duke Energy, Monster Beverage, Walmart, and McDonald's. That's why I love these Big Ten. Your Amazons, your Googles, your Netflixes, your NVIDIAs. They kind of got that variable love when they're going. You've got a great S&P behind it. You got a great QQQ, SMH, XLK. You kind of get that full market-wide alignment, which I think we talked about last week. Got that webinar happening here tonight. But part of the webinar tonight, kind of a deep dive into the trades we did from, call it June of last year up until June of this year, all being that white or that green arrow squeeze. But if we put all the trades into two different groups, one group being, hey, there's just a nice scan result. The other group being, all right, here's a nice squeeze with a good market behind it, sector alignment, just, again, really locked and loaded. The trades where it's just, hey, here's a nice setup, which, I think even based on our definition, a little bit of dime a dozen, the results are a lot more mixed. 50% win rate. Here's your Procter and Gamble's, T-Mobile, Starbucks's. These kinds of names, which again by default, big tech, big semis, I think they get more alignment. Qs are super strong, SM strong. It's the same exact trade every time. Squeeze, big three score of 15. But when you have that bigger picture alignment, you go from a 50-ish% win rate to closer to 80. So the point I'm trying to make is when you have strength in the SMH names, XLK, Google, Microsoft, I think they make for some of your better trades because it can be sustainable. They've got so much behind them, they can make a nice multi-day, multi-week push. Where if anything, in my experience, the Home Depots, XLPs, the Starbuckses, may be a little bit more flimsy. So point I'm trying to make right now, yeah, it's nice that we have a good-looking Johnson & Johnson, good-looking Uber. If we get a bigger dump in Amazon, Apple, Google, NVIDIA, Broadcom, it can have a negative impact on food for your thoughts. But all right, so in terms of all of that, about 99% of the current focus list, I'll hurry up and wait. Now, here's the beauty of the ebbing and flowing. And not always, of course, but a lot of times like this, you'll get a pullback, usually towards that 21 EMA. Okay, so here's your 21 EMA. Right, we pull back, we chop. If they get good structure in that chop, you then get a brand new squeeze. Now, at that point, it's still nothing but chop. But now we're getting the heads up. All right, we got some cushion here. That maybe kicks off a move sometime soon. They pull it back, they chop, they squeeze it. In the right market, that kicks off the easy push from that 21 towards the extension. Everybody's happy. Everybody's buying calls. We're all fat, happy, and rich. Then you get another pullback to the rising 21. And they chop it back and forth, brand new squeeze, another leg higher. Not to say it's how things play out this time around, but the beauty of that good flush, that good reset, you do begin to get brand new 4-hour daily, weekly squeeze, which for me are always going to be my biggest money makers. So a few examples there. If we go look at NVIDIA, I can't stress enough in terms of the short term. I've got nothing here in the form of the buy trigger. This could maybe be a 15, 30 days down the road. No trigger, no trade. But again, some videos, pump in, gap it up, pump it. Everybody buy NVIDIA, let's get rid. Happens. The unimaginable, NVIDIA pulls back to the rising 21. From there, we're getting that brand new daily squeeze down there. Which again, with patience, this could be a really good trade here sometime soon. The current picture, it's 8 points out of 15. Trend is more neutral, structure is more bullish, momentum is bearish. No 1 hour buy trigger, no 30, no 15. If they could turn that daily squeeze into this one, Q's pull back, brand new squeeze, perfect structure, momentum, the trend, the buy trigger. I want to buy it, and I want to buy a lot of it. If they can't get it to that point, I'm not going to buy it. But like I said, there's the beauty. If NVIDIA just keeps on going for it, you don't get the flush, the reset, and the squeeze action. So definitely got to keep a close eye on that one. Same action here for Broadcom. All right, pump it, and you flush. Brand new daily squeeze. I don't have the trigger. Neutral trend, bull structure, bear momentum, couple of sell signals. But I don't have to buy it today. I could take my 8 points out of 15. All right, 15 points on our checklist. I could jump in with 8. It may be by, let's call it $2,000 worth of calls. Or I could do nothing, wait for my full 15 and buy closer to $10,000, $15,000 worth of calls. That's my mindset. Less trades, more size. But yeah, brand new squeeze there for NVIDIA, brand new for Broadcom. Got one shaping up here for the Microsoft. I imagine maybe at some point a dip buy above 500. And then I think one here for the SMH. Not yet. I think we'll get one, and then I believe AMD. Yeah, brand new daily squeeze for AMD. All right, then there's a few here for Tesla. We really buy on a weekly trigger, but Tesla's has a weekly 3-day, 2-day squeeze. Here's the Amazon. Amazon with a 2-day squeeze setting up. So yeah, that's kind of my short-term point of view, guys. Have things taking a breather, have things fallen off the rankings for sure. Have they done that in a fashion where I think we're in a bear market, up with a thirst for puts? We're not really there just yet. Neutral bullish tells me be patient, don't be in a big rush. And yeah, if you can find a nice short for a day trader scalp, jump in and take it. But more importantly, brand new NVIDIA daily squeeze, Broadcom, SMH, Microsoft, AMD. Let those things work out. The ideal picture would be NVIDIA's chopping. We get the white or the green arrow trigger on NVIDIA. And as NVIDIA shapes up, here goes the SMH from 14th place back to 10th, 5th, back to 1st. If they can paint that picture, I think we got some great trades lined up. Patience in the short term. And then I did go through the top 20 last night. The only one really catching my eye would be the Uber. So I shall show you the Uber. 2-day, daily, and a 5-minute squeeze here for Uber. Gotta like it. 15 points, good structure. Fresh momentum turn. But here can be the tough part. You'll find really good-looking setups. Crank up the scans, look for a 15-minute squeeze, 30-minute 40. You can always find them. Let's just say for conversation's sake, we're going to go through a 5-10 day period of a lot of nothing. S&Ps pull back a little bit more, they pop, and just kind of a lot more chop near that 21 EMA. That can make it a lot tougher for your good-looking setups to break out and work. Where if you instead had the S&Ps breaking out, QQQ breaking out, good internals, VIX is dropping, then you're taking Uber, and you've maybe found it during a moment in time. There's a lot more things besides Uber pointing towards a push higher. Again, that kind of being the aha moment for me last year. It's like, all right, I'm taking the same exact trade every single time. Might be long or short, might be futures options, but it's the same squeeze. So why is it when I'm doing the squeeze on these kinds of names, we're batting like 50-50, and I do the same exact thing on these kinds of names, we're batting closer to 80%. My preference would be 80% over 50. And I think that's the biggest thing there. What can you add as far as edge behind that one setup? Where y'all know my Kroger trade. And the thinking should never be, can it work today? The thinking should be, can I do this 100 and thousands of times in a row and get wealthy while I'm doing that? So we're jumping in back here buying Kroger. The day we bought Kroger, the rankings were QQQ, SMH, Big 10, XLK. All right, total big tech, big semi frenzy. The weakest sector on the entire board, XLP. Well, guess what Kroger is not? It's not a big tech name, SMH name, XLK holding. Okay, so there's one mistake. I'm getting swing long on what might just be a really pretty setup. The big heavily weighted name, not part of the strongest index. Even worse, Kroger being part of the XLP. XLP was in dead last. The easy trade that week. Not easy on that one instance. Easy over the course of every 50, 100 times you do it. Broadcom and NVIDIA on the 30. Like I'm taking a half-court shot on Kroger. That week, NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD, QQQ, they're handing out layups. And I think it was right back here. QQQ super strong, SMH in first place. Broadcom, I think, it might have had the perfect total score. Then you find your shot. 30-minute squeeze, got the green arrow, all the criteria, the entry. But there's way more behind it than, hey, here's a nice 30-minute squeeze. So yeah, more on that tonight. But that's why for a lot of us, I like the trade. If I do go and buy some Broadcom today, I can't fool myself into thinking it's the same trade as last week. It might be the same chart pattern, same setup, same squeeze, totally different context. So patience on those names, and then I do like Uber. But I am going to make it a little bit more of a S&P QQQ thing. We get another 4, 5, 10 days of chop. Not too sure I want to open up too many swing positions. But all right, y'all, that is my story. I am sticking to it. Any questions, chart requests, whatever y'all got, get it in the chat, and I will get caught up with you. Now, check these apples out. 2-day squeeze on the NQ. At no point ever would I want to get swing short that chart. Yeah, give me a really ugly 15-minute squeeze today. I'll take a quick scalp. But if I take a massive swing short, it goes against the entire system. 15 points out of 15. Bull trend, bull structure, bull momentum. Brand new 2-day squeeze at the ideal buy zone. If I jump in and buy that today, is that going to be a guaranteed paycheck? Never. But if I short that chart 100 times in a row, I think I'll be homeless. If I buy that chart, when I'm getting a 15-minute trigger, 30-minute trigger, I get long that kind of chart 100 times in a row. I think it all works out in my favor. So what do I do for now? I do nothing. And then maybe I'm waking up on Friday, Monday morning, fresh 15-minute buy signal, fresh 30-minute, fresh hourly buy signal. Then I'm thinking about jumping in. All right, I want to go ahead buy that 2-day squeeze. So yeah, things forcing me to be a patient fella. But all right, I'll get caught up in the chat here, see what you folks have got, and then folks over in my room, be with y'all for the open. Could be a dull open, but we'll find out together. Yeah, David, see, I think I like the idea of maybe a short-term day trade approach till things can get a little bit better here versus, hey, I'm going to jump in and buy a 30-day till expiration call off the daily squeeze. And again, reason being, if the market is going to be choppy, we don't know if it will be. But if we do get a few weeks of chop, it just makes your bigger time frame trades a lot trickier. Not as much oomph, a little bit less follow through. So yeah, to your point, I love the idea of all right. Well, I'm waiting for a better market or more clarity in the market. I'm going to go to maybe really any of these names, and let's just say it's Uber, for example. Until things change with the overall market, rather than jumping onto the 2-day daily squeeze here for Uber, I'm going to maybe try to keep it short and sweet, looking at the 30-minute hourly 15.5. So little things like that. And the beauty is you find a really, really good 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute squeeze that can give you your push, and you don't need day after day, week after week of strength. Back there's the entire push from your 21 towards your target. That took 1, 2, 3. It's like a 35, maybe 40-minute endeavor. If we're trying to jump into some, 35, 40 day till expiration endeavors, if you have a choppier market, not an easy game. That can be an easier game. But I would take the same approach. If I'm going to have a 15-minute squeeze focus this week, where should that focus be? And maybe it shouldn't be Microsoft and TSM. Maybe it should be an XLP name, a transport, materials, financial, T-Mobile. They've got the prettier colors. And yeah, Lorna brings up a great point. The Fed parade. So yeah, a lot of things pointing towards your dog might get a few additional walks today. And nothing wrong with that. All right, folks over here on the YouTubes. Yeah, what's up, Will? Let's go take a look here at the NQ together. What's up, Ross? Good morning there. The Unclaimed King. I like that name. Okay, so for a long here on the old NQ, the NASDAQ futures on a day like today, I might even anchor to something like a 1 minute or a 2-minute time frame. They've got some work to do before I can get another 1-hour buy trigger, 30-minute, 15-minute. But they can maybe today get something like a 1 minute or a 2-minute going. If they can get a 1-minute buy trigger, all right, they've got a little ammunition. They've got a little something to work with. I can anchor to that, try to call for a short-term pop. If the action is going to be like this, right, they flush, they pump, and you finally get the 1-minute buy. And they pull back, they lose it, they pop, they get it again, they lose it, we flush. Well, put it this way, if the Bulls can't even get and keep a 1-minute buy trigger, they ain't got too much to work with. But I think the idea of looking for that kind of trigger at, some level of support could make sense. Where things can get a little softer here in the short term would be the longer we hang out under that 21 EMA. It may be at worst that gives you a flush down to a daily 50. But things can get a little interesting south of that 21. All right, my friend Ross, OKLO. Yeah, so if we can pull off what I think we can pull off here with everything we're working on here in the background regarding the ranking system, the scoreboard, I'm biased, of course, but I think it'll be one of the best things we put out there before. But still, putting all the dots on the I's, crossing the T's. All right, OKLO. So Ross, pretty big level here at your rising daily 50. For me, it's a spot where if I'm gonna play it long, I'm gonna be a little bit late to the party. My long would look like they flush to the 50, they hold it, they pop it, and then they go and get one, maybe two closes back above that 21 EMA. All right, they're back on their own 2 feet. They can dust off their shoulders, catch their breath, drink some Gatorade. Then you're back above that 21. You get 15-minute buy signal, 30-minute. It'd be a similar picture to maybe back here. Right, you break it, you're back above, you stabilize, rebuild. Then you're getting a few buy triggers. They try to kick off that next pop. Where this right now is more of a moving average sandwich. Below the 21 EMA, above the 50. And, for sure, if they break the 50, 15-minute sell trigger, 30-minute hourly, that could make for a big flush. Back above that 21 EMA, 15-minute, 30-minute buy trigger, that can make for your pop. So that immediate path forward, it's always tricky between the rock and the hard place. All right, the GC, the gold futures. Yeah, gold futures. Had to make sure there wasn't a GC ticker. Okay, so this is a great case of what can happen when bigger time frame squeezes lack momentum behind them. And that's a mouthful, but if we look at maybe the 3-day squeeze, right, if you guys have my indicators, this is really important to, excuse me, I'm choking up here. This is really important to understand and have a good grasp of. All right, so here's what we would call maybe an A- setup. 13 points out of 15, pretty close. Really good trend, really good chart structure, bear momentum. We're almost there. So we call that maybe in A-. When you have everything but momentum, compression from your squeeze, good trend, good structure, until you get momentum, this is pretty much best case scenario. They flush it, they pop it, they think about the breakout, they work it back in, they go for another breakout, they work it back in. It looks and feels and smells like a breakout. They really can't get a full tank of gas going. If we look at the weekly squeeze. All right, so back here you had a squeeze where momentum shifted back to the buy side. Crosses negative, crosses back positive, and kicks off the push. Now your current weekly squeeze is almost a little bit the opposite. We pull back into a squeeze and momentum crosses below zero. Does not make it bearish. Doesn't mean you go and short the thing, but if you want to jump in and call for that, right, I am long on that candle getting paid immediately. Tough until you get momentum. Another example would be the Bitcoin futures. These tools, indicators, they all came from the frustration of, back when I was trading the original squeeze and the squeeze pro. Why is it sometimes I jump in, get long, and boom, right? They pump it, they break it out, I'm getting paid. And then there's times where I jump in, get long, and it's more like this. July goes by, sitting through August. Here comes September. Here comes October. Then they get that big push in November. Well, if you're buying back here in July, you might not be there in November. All throughout July, August, September, October, trend was perfect, structure was perfect, big weekly squeeze, no momentum. Everything lines up except that one thing. And they think about the push, they work it back in, they pop, they fade, they pop, they fade. I don't like sitting through any of that. I like, hey, can I buy it on that candle? And can you pay me here sometime soon? Momentum is a huge part of that. So I got to wrap it up here, guys. But again, for gold futures, that's the only bigger picture, kind of the only thing missing as far as, could they get another leg going here from the weekly 3-day, 2-day daily squeeze? The elusive quadruple squeeze. In my book, none of it is a short. But it's kind of in the same boat as NVIDIA, AMD, Broadcom. Could make for a really big, really explosive trade a couple days, couple weeks down the road. If we get our triggers, we shall get there. But all right, y'all, thank you again. Happy Wednesday. Wish you all the best of luck. And yeah, webinar tonight. Come on out, hang out for a bit. BYOB should be a good time. And then, folks, in my room, I will see you in 2 minutes and